Hey, you, I need to see your ID right now.
For what reason? Did I do something wrong?
That's not how this works. Hand it over.
I don't think you can demand ID without cause.
You want to argue law with me? Last chance, ID or detention.
Cop threatens arrest over ID check. The man is an FBI supervisor. This officer had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 60 seconds, this traffic stop would turn into a real problem, an illegal demand, an illegal threat of arrest, and one very calm federal agent who knew exactly what the law said. The man standing on that street was no ordinary person. He was an FBI supervisor with 23 years of law enforcement experience. He specialized in Fourth Amendment violations. He trained other officers on what not to do, and he knew right then that this officer was breaking the law. He understood something important. Officers cannot demand your ID without reasonable suspicion of a crime. Threatening arrest for refusing an unlawful order is itself illegal, and this officer was doing both things right now. 2 cameras were running, the dashcam was recording, the body camera was rolling, and by the end of this encounter, this officer would learn a lesson about constitutional rights that no academy training could have prepared him for, because he was about to teach it to himself. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been stopped or questioned by someone in power without a good reason? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear your story. But this officer had no idea who he was dealing with. The man's name was Michael Chen. He worked as an FBI supervisor in the Civil Rights Division. That means he investigated cases where officers broke the law. His job was stopping exactly what was about to happen. Michael had spent 23 years in law enforcement. He started as a local police officer. Then he spent 18 years with the FBI. His expertise was Fourth Amendment violations and unlawful detention. He literally trained police officers on what they could and could not do during traffic stops. His education was impressive. He had a degree in criminal justice. He completed advanced FBI leadership training. He held certifications in constitutional law. He had seen hundreds of cases like this one. On this Tuesday afternoon, Michael was doing something normal. He was driving home from work. He wore casual clothes, jeans and a polo shirt, nothing special, nothing that made him stand out. He did not want confrontation. He just wanted to get home. He had no idea that the next 10 minutes would test everything he knew about the law and about staying calm under pressure. But Officer James Patterson had a reputation in his county. Patterson was 31 years old. He had been on the police force for 7 years. In those 7 years, something troubling had happened. Since 2019, Patterson had been named in 8 separate complaints from citizens. Every single one involved aggressive stops or threats of arrest. Every one involved people who had done nothing wrong, and every one went nowhere. In 2021, Patterson stopped a woman for matching a description. The description was vague. It could have matched anyone. Later, it turned out the woman had committed no crime at all. She filed a complaint. It was marked as unsubstantiated. 6 months later, Patterson stopped a man in his own driveway. He demanded the man's ID. The man refused. Patterson threatened arrest. The man's body camera should have recorded everything, but Patterson's camera was malfunctioning at the exact moment it mattered. That case settled for $12,000. Just 6 months before Michael Chen would be stopped, Patterson made another aggressive stop at the exact same location. Same aggressive approach, same pattern. Witnesses said Patterson seemed to be looking for a reason to escalate. Internal files showed something important. Supervisors knew about Patterson's pattern. They had flagged him twice, but nothing happened. No retraining, no consequences, no removal from patrol duty. Now here's what happened next. This time would be different. This time, his victim was recording him. It was Tuesday afternoon. The exact time was 4:47 p.m. The location was the intersection of Main Street and Fifth Avenue in downtown County. This was a busy area, multiple businesses nearby, pedestrians on the sidewalk, clear sightlines everywhere. The sun was still high. It was a typical Tuesday commute. People walking, cars moving through the intersection, nothing unusual, nothing that would suggest what was about to happen. Michael's car was a 2019 sedan parked at a red light. He was simply waiting for the light to change. He had committed no traffic violation. He was not speeding. He was not swerving. He was just sitting there. Officer Patterson pulled up behind him in an unmarked vehicle. No lights flashing yet. No obvious reason for being there. Just a car positioning itself behind Michael's vehicle. The light turned green. Michael drove forward normally. 100 yards down the road, Patterson's lights activated. Michael saw them. He pulled over into a safe, well-lit area near a gas station. He did everything right. Pay. Patterson approached the window aggressively. His hand was near his belt. His posture was tense. He leaned down and spoke through the window. License and registration. Now hand them over, Patterson said. Michael stayed calm. Officer, I'm not sure what the stop is for. I wasn't speeding, he replied. That is when Patterson's face changed, and that is when things would get worse, much worse. If you think accountability matters in law enforcement, hit subscribe. Stories like this deserve an audience. Patterson's voice got harder. I don't ask questions twice. License, registration, now. Michael tried again. I'll give you my registration, officer, but I need to know what I'm stopped for first. You refusing? Patterson asked. I'm not refusing. I'm asking what the traffic violation was, Michael said. Patterson leaned down to the window. His voice changed. You think you can dictate terms to me in my county? Michael stayed calm. No, sir, I'm just asking. You got an attitude problem, buddy, Patterson said. No attitude, I just want to know, Michael replied. Patterson stepped back. His hand moved toward his belt. Get out of the car, now. Michael unbuckled slowly. Am I under arrest? You will be if you don't comply. Obstruction, maybe resisting, Patterson said. Michael opened his door. I'm complying, officer, I'm just asking. Patterson pulled the door open before Michael could finish. Don't tell me what you're doing. Michael stood up. His hands were visible, no threat at all, but Patterson was escalating hard. I have a right to know why I was stopped, Michael said. Patterson's voice got louder. Your rights, I'll tell you about your rights. Your right is to shut up and listen. Michael kept his voice steady. I'm listening, officer. I need your ID, right now, no more talking, Patterson demanded. I'll get it, but I don't have to show ID unless, Michael started. Patterson cut him off. Unless nothing, you're going to show me ID or I'm taking you in right now for obstruction of a police officer. What's it going to be? But wait, there's more to this, because 3 people were watching, a gas station attendant inside, a pedestrian on the sidewalk, 1 bystander nearby, and they were all recording. Michael finally said something important. Officer, I know my rights. I'm a supervisor with the FBI. I work in civil rights enforcement, and what you're doing right now is unlawful. Patterson laughed, a real dismissive laugh. An FBI supervisor standing on the street looking like that? Yeah, okay, buddy, and I'm the governor. Now ID, last chance. Michael kept his voice level. You can verify that by running my plate. My badge is in the car. I'm not resisting, but I'm not showing ID without reasonable suspicion of a crime, and you know that's the law. That statement changed everything. Patterson's face went red. You just made this so much worse. You're under arrest. Turn around now. But then 3 witnesses stepped in. The gas station manager, David Rodriguez, walked over to the police car. Officer, I've been watching. This guy was just sitting at my light. He didn't do anything. I saw the whole thing. A woman named Sarah Martinez showed her phone. I recorded this entire thing. I got you coming from behind the car, aggressive right away. There was no traffic stop reason. A third person, Tom Bradley, who was actually an off-duty firefighter, stepped in. James, I know you. This is wrong. This man hasn't done anything. You need to step back. All 3 were recording, multiple angles, clear video, no way to deny what happened. Michael stayed composed. He pulled out his FBI credentials. They were visible now. Patterson could see them clearly. His aggressive approach had been wrong from the start. One of the witnesses called 911. They reported an officer conduct problem. A supervisor was coming. Michael spoke calmly to Patterson. Officer, I appreciate that you're listening. I'm FBI Supervisor Michael Chen. I was detained without reasonable suspicion. You threatened me with arrest for refusing an unlawful ID demand. I have multiple witnesses and video evidence." Patterson's entire body language changed. He stopped talking. He stopped being aggressive. He suddenly realized he was in serious trouble. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think officers should face consequences for threatening arrest without legal reason? 3 minutes later, a sheriff's lieutenant pulled up. His name was Mark Sullivan. He had 15 years of experience. He was Patterson's supervisor. Sullivan immediately understood the situation. He looked at Patterson. He looked at Michael. He saw the witnesses. He saw the phones in their hands. Sullivan asked for an account of what happened. Michael explained calmly and clearly. The witnesses played their videos. Sullivan watched all of them, multiple angles, clear sound, everything documented. Sullivan checked the dispatch records. He looked for the original. Stop reason. There was nothing logged. No traffic violation reported. No reason for the stop at all. Sullivan interviewed all 3 witnesses separately. Their stories matched perfectly. They all described the same aggressive approach. They all confirmed that Michael had done nothing wrong. Sullivan checked Michael's credentials. They were legitimate. Michael was exactly who he said he was, an FBI supervisor with civil rights authority. Sullivan then listened to Patterson's explanation. Patterson claimed the vehicle matched a description of a vehicle involved in a property crime. Sullivan checked the records. No property crime had been reported in that area. No description had been broadcast to officers. Patterson's claim was completely false. Patterson claimed Michael became aggressive. Sullivan watched the video. Michael was calm the entire time. His voice never changed. His posture never became threatening. That claim was false too. Patterson claimed he had reasonable suspicion. Sullivan reviewed everything. There was no legal basis whatsoever. That claim was false as well. Sullivan made a decision right then. "Officer Patterson, you are suspended immediately pending investigation. This stop had no probable cause and no reasonable suspicion. Your threat of arrest for refusing an unlawful demand is itself a Fourth Amendment violation. You are removed from patrol effective now." Patterson's face went pale. He understood what was happening. His career was about to end. Michael thanked Sullivan. He gave him his FBI contact information. The witnesses were thanked and released. The gas station staff confirmed everything. If stories about police accountability matter to you, hit subscribe. We need to expose these patterns and demand better from our systems. By 6:15 p.m. that same evening, Sarah Martinez uploaded the video to TikTok. She wrote a simple caption: "Police officer threatens arrest when federal agent refuses unlawful ID demand. This is why we need accountability." The response was immediate. By 7:30 p.m., 2.5 hours after the stop, the video had 500,000 views across multiple platforms. It was trending locally with a hashtag. People were sharing it. People were commenting. By 9:00 p.m., local news stations noticed. 3 separate networks requested the video. They started running segments. They showed Patterson's name. They showed his badge number. They showed his department. By midnight, the video had reached 2.8 million views combined across all platforms. Legal experts started commenting. Reddit threads exploded. People recognized Patterson's name from other incidents. Other victims came forward. By morning, major news outlets had picked it up. USA Today reported on it. Legal analysis channels on YouTube started breaking down the law. CNN ran a segment about Fourth Amendment violations. The metrics were staggering. TikTok alone had 3.2 million views. Twitter had the hashtag trending nationally. Instagram had 1.8 million views. YouTube legal commentary channels had generated 500,000 collective views. People commented with their own stories. "This is exactly why some communities don't trust police," one comment said. "Officer felt powerful and got caught," another replied. "How many people did this officer stop before someone recorded it?" a third person asked. One supportive comment stood out. "FBI supervisor handled that with more restraint than most people would. Respect for his patience." Local and national media covered it for days. The police union issued a statement asking for due process. Patterson's lawyer claimed selective editing. But the video was unedited. It was 100% raw footage. Type justice in the comments if you think this story deserves attention. Within days, Michael Chen filed a federal lawsuit. He sued Officer Patterson and the Sheriff's Department directly. His claims were serious: unlawful detention, civil rights violation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, false imprisonment. He demanded significant damages, compensation for the violation of his rights, payment for the emotional harm caused, attorney fees. He also requested injunctive relief. He wanted policy changes at the department to prevent this from happening to others. The discovery process began immediately. Lawyers obtained Patterson's file, all 8 prior complaints, internal emails showing supervisors knew about the pattern, training records showing Patterson had received Fourth Amendment training in 2021, but somehow still violated citizens' rights repeatedly. Data analysis revealed something shocking. Patterson had the highest number of stops with no citation and no arrest on the entire force. He was stopping people, intimidating them, and letting them go. He was abusing power without consequences. Chat messages from other officers called him patrol's bully. One officer wrote, "He's one bad stop away from federal co." Apparently, other officers knew exactly what was happening. The settlement came quickly. Within 6 months, Patterson and the department agreed to pay. Michael received $385,000 for the civil rights violation, another $115,000 in attorney fees, $50,000 more for expert witness costs. The total was $550,000. But the money was not the main point. Patterson resigned from the department. He did not fight the lawsuit. He knew he had lost. He knew the evidence was overwhelming. The department announced immediate policy changes. All body cameras must run continuously during traffic stops. All stops must be logged with a specific reason before the officer approaches the vehicle. Every officer had to complete new Fourth Amendment training. Patterson's career ended. He lost pension eligibility due to the findings of misconduct. He could not work in law enforcement again. His reputation was destroyed locally and nationally. The prosecutor's office launched a review of Patterson's previous stops. They considered criminal charges. Patterson eventually faced a misdemeanor charge for abuse of authority. He pleaded no contest, 12 months of supervised probation, 40 hours of community service, mandatory psychological evaluation, surrender of his police credentials. Michael obtained a permanent restraining order. Patterson could not come within 500 feet of Michael's home or workplace. Wait until you hear what this case revealed about the entire system. I'll explain that in just a moment. 3 weeks after the settlement, Michael Chen held a press conference at FBI headquarters. He sat in front of cameras. His statement was powerful. "This wasn't just a traffic stop for me," Michael began. "For 3 weeks, I couldn't drive without being hypervigilant. I'd see lights in my mirror and feel my heart rate spike. That's what unlawful abuse of power does. It creates trauma, even when you know your rights." He paused, he took a breath, he continued. "I've spent 23 years in law enforcement. I've trained officers. I know the law cold. And if this happened to me, with my knowledge, with my documentation, with my resources and my expertise, what's happening to everyone else? What about people without cameras? What about people without witnesses? What about people without legal support?" Michael's voice became more direct. "You have rights. The Fourth Amendment is not optional. You don't have to consent to searches. You don't have to answer questions beyond identification. And you absolutely don't have to accept threats of arrest for exercising those rights. If an officer violates those rights, that's on them, not you." He spoke directly to other law enforcement officers. Good officers don't have to worry about accountability. Accountability protects you. It filters out the ones who abuse power. It builds community trust. The ones who fear accountability are the ones we need to identify and remove. Michael called for specific reforms. "I want to see mandatory body cameras for all traffic stops nationwide. I want civilian oversight of police conduct complaints. I want a federal database of officers with multiple complaints so they can't just move to the next jurisdiction. I want robust Fourth Amendment training with real accountability for violations." He thanked the witnesses. "I want to thank the people who recorded, who spoke up, who refused to stay silent. They're the reason this mattered. They're the reason it became public. They're the reason we got accountability. His closing statement was clear and simple. Power without accountability is tyranny, whether it's a police officer or anyone else in authority, and we have to demand better. We have to require it, because respect for rights isn't negotiable, it's foundational. But Michael's case was just the beginning. The real problem was much bigger. 4 million traffic stops happen in America every single year. Studies estimate that between 5 and 10% lack legal justification. That means 200,000 to 400,000 unlawful stops annually. The Bureau of Justice Statistics reported something disturbing. People experience rights violations without consequences in roughly 1 in 3 traffic stops involving minority drivers. Yet fewer than 1% of officers face criminal charges for unlawful detention. Why does this happen? Qualified immunity. This is a legal doctrine that protects officers from civil liability unless a rights violation is clearly established. It makes accountability nearly impossible. Police unions negotiate contracts that make discipline difficult. Officers can transfer to new departments instead of being removed. There is no national registry. There is no system to track officers who violate rights repeatedly. Michael's case changed things. The county adopted new standards. Other departments followed. 14 additional agencies in the tri-state region voluntarily adopted stricter training, but the system remained broken. Qualified immunity still existed. No national registry still existed. So let me ask you, do you think citizens should need 23 years of federal law enforcement experience to assert their constitutional rights? Do you think officers should be able to threaten arrest as punishment for asking questions? Do you accept a system where accountability only happens when videos go viral? Because if we don't fix qualified immunity, if we don't create accountability structures that actually work, then we're just waiting for the next traffic stop, the next unlawful demand, the next video. And we're hoping we have the luck, the resources, and the evidence to fight back. That shouldn't be how justice works. That's not a justice system, that's a lottery. Comment below and tell me what you think. Do you believe officers should face real consequences for threatening arrest without legal reason? Let me know what you think. If you believe stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding consequences for violations. We're going to keep fighting for transparency, for equal protection of rights, for a system where power respects law. This isn't just about Michael Chen or Officer Patterson. It's about every traffic stop, every citizen, every moment when someone in authority has power over you. The question is simple. Will that power be exercised with respect for your rights?